It's a good day because Brittany Griner is coming home.
That was U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken referring to a high-profile prisoner swap announced by Moscow and Washington Thursday. The swap involved Russian businessman Viktor Bout and WNBA star Brittany Griner, or, depending on who's telling it, convicted arms dealer Viktor Bout and convicted international drug smuggler Brittany Griner. Bout had been in a U.S. prison for 14 years, serving a 25-year term, while Griner was just sentenced to a penal colony in Russia. The swap took place at Abu Dhabi Airport in the United Arab Emirates, following lengthy negotiations between Russia and the U.S., and was reportedly, according to some sources, brokered by the UAE and Saudi governments. Both Griner and Bout were pardoned by the respective nations before the swap, which means they won't have to serve the balance of their terms at home.
I had the chance to be in the Oval Office early this morning with President Biden, Vice President Harris, and Sherelle Griner, Brittany's wife. And to hear the two of them get on the phone and have that conversation with Brittany free, out of Russia, on her way home, was something I won't forget. And it's just a reminder, too, that so much of what we do every single day, it seems like it's an abstraction, but it's a reminder that it's ultimately about real people, real lives, real futures. And it's wonderful that Brittany and Sherelle and their families are able to pursue their lives now that she is free and coming home.
And she's coming home to a country that has, according to the drugabusestatistics.org website, 143,510 prisoners between state and federal prison for drug-related crimes. They were also celebrating in Moscow Russian MP Maria Butina, who had her own encounter with U.S.-style justice when she was charged with being a foreign agent, shared this with the Russian English-language news outlet RT earlier Thursday.
Well, you can see how difficult it was now in the geopolitical situation and how the United States treats Russia today and Russian citizens. Me personally have survived through 1.5 years of the U.S. prison, being found guilty without guilt. So I do understand what it means. However, I should say that what Viktor Bout has suffered through is unbelievable for so many years. However, his wife, Alla, I just talked to her. She has been a wonderful wife all these years. She has stayed next to her husband despite of his imprisonment. They have been talking over the phone, and she was writing letters and supporting him, and she is a great mother. So because of the Russian position, that we never give up our people and we will always fight for every Russian. He is now coming home. It's an incredible happiness for me because I guess it's an exchange despite all of their obstacles that the United States has been doing for years and years for this poor family.
Well, talking of years and years, Moscow's been trying to persuade Washington to carry out such a deal for years. What do you make of the timing of Viktor Bout's release today? Can you read anything into that for us?
Well, I do believe it's just step by step. It means that Russia was pushing hard all these days and years, and finally they negotiated a deal, and it's a great victory for Russian diplomacy. And thanks to their hard and stable position of our president, Vladimir Putin, it all became real. And don't forget, like a couple of months ago, there was another swap with Viktor Yaroshenko, who has been jailed in the United States for more than 10 years, and he's home too. There are two of these guys who have been their symbol of, whatever they try to make of Russia, like Russian evil or something, evil empire. And now these people are home. They're going to be with their families. I just wish them happy life and try to forgive, I guess, as a Christian, but never forget as a human being.
Well, given the current state of geopolitics, Maria, what does it say that despite relations between Russia and the US being at the lowest they've been for decades, that the two countries can still agree, even, on a prisoner swap like this?
Well, I wish I would say that it's because both countries just they just value human lives, but I do believe it's Russian position because it has been for years. We have been trying to take our people back for years, and the United States was the side who has been saying that we don't want this, and we want them just to show everybody that we have these evil Russians and look at them. It's horrible. It's like a witch hunt. So I became a victim of a witch hunt, and therefore today, why it's possible? Well, I believe because Russians were pushing hard, and that means that we have a very strong position in the world that the United States cannot resist.
Mm-hmm. Well, you touched upon, your personal experience just there in your answer. What was it like, being part of such a prisoner swap deal?
Well, I wasn't a part of the swap deal. However, my country did everything. So I came back home, not in 15 years, as the United States was trying to leave me behind the bars for, but in 1.5 years. Though I went through 4 months of solitary confinement, sleepless nights for more than a month, and for people undressing me over and over again through horrible tortures. So I'm so sorry for what Victor has been through, and you barely can be back to the normal life after what the United States does with its prisoners. Mm-hmm. However, I believe that love brought me back, the love of my family, and I'm sure that his wife, Ella, and the child, and his mom, they're gonna surrender to the love passion that is going on around the family, and they're gonna love him so much. So he will recover, I hope.
Well, you yourself have obviously been through quite a harrowing experience in the US, as you just described, unimaginable for most people. Can you describe to us and to our viewers what you felt when you first landed back on home territory? What did it feel like, and what did you do the first day?
I felt freedom, just freedom. I can go right or left. I can make my choice. I see my motherland, and I just don't want to go anywhere in the world. I just want to be home. I have been, fighting so hard to get home, and I know what does it mean, real home, real family, because my country, my motherland, never gives up on us, on the Russians. Wherever we are, whatever happened.
Have you managed to come to terms with your ordeal, Maria? You mentioned Viktor Bout forgiving the US for the imprisonment. Have you managed to do that? And you've managed to come to terms and move on from what you went through?
I don't hate American people, and that's what I wish for Viktor Bout to come through the hate because it's unjust. It's unjust. However, I understand that there is government and there are people, and people they're not evil. But what the government, the United States government does with the Russians, with its own people. Look, I've been around all the blacks. Like, there are only 13% black people in the United States. How they managed all to be in jails. The majority, it means that there isn't justice.
For KPFK, I'm Don DeBar.